So our next video is the Hallamore Clydesdales.
Oh, these are great.
I just personally love Clydesdales.
Yes.
So go ahead and introduce those for us.
Well, the Hallamore Clydesdales, Clydesdale horse itself was named after the Clyde River out in Scotland. And this breed of horse, they began to recognize the breed of the horse was very docile, very gentle. They're called gentle giants.
Yes.
And so they're giants.
They're huge.
And they're huge. And they recognized that they began to be these individuals that could haul tremendous loads and could be also tremendously helpful in a battle because they don't get spoofed like other horses.
They're very calm.
So they're very calm.
Okay.
And so, but they're massive.
All right, let's take a look. The Hallamore Clydesdales.
We're presently at our stable in Lakeville, Massachusetts on Route 18. It's been the home for these horses for over 30 years. And the horses have actually been Goodwill ambassadors for the Hallamore Corporation for over 40 years. The horses are a strictly advertisement value. There's no income per se from the horses, and it's actually a tremendous expense to maintain. And it's just out of the passion and commitment of the owner that these even exist in this form, because it's a big responsibility and ongoing commitment. It's 365 days a year. There's somebody here to look after the horses. We have 15 Clydesdales here on the property and take a group of 8 at a time to local events, primarily parades in southern New England, one of which, of course, is the hometown parade, a Thanksgiving theme in Plymouth, which is one of the nicer parades we go to. These individuals are selected from breeders both in the United States, Canada, and back in their homeland of England and Scotland. Yeah, the horses average about 2,200 pounds, so that's over a ton. And they stand over 18 hands tall. 18 hands is 6 foot, so they're at least 6 foot or better there. And so they get their heads up in the air. It's up there, you know, it's probably 8 feet or so, and they average about 9 years of age. I think the youngest we have now is 5, and they go on up to about 13 or so. They can live to be roughly 20 years of age if nothing happens to them. They got to have a lot of discipline with these horses too, because we're in the public and everything, and they have to be well trained. You can teach them the basics in a few weeks, but it's probably a year or more between the time we start with them before they would ever consider to put them in their first parade. They have to have many, many, many repetitions of the scenario so that they're what we call extremely well trained. So the day before the parade, 8 horses that are going to be involved all get a bath, which takes 2 people about 45 minutes. And then the morning of the parade, we got 2 or 3 hours of grooming and prepping and braiding. They wear ribbons in their hair to kind of decorate them a bit. And then at the parade, it's about another approximate 1 hour to harness and hook up the horses to the wagon. It's a all day and then some. So there's not a lot of work for them, and they kind of get into the festive atmosphere with the noise and the bands and the crowd and everything, and they kind of get a little hyped up and seem to like that. They're just impressive in their presentation, between how big they are and how nice they're cleaned up and how sharp everything looks. So it's pretty special in and of itself. Just want the people to appreciate when they do see the horses in the parade that there's just a tremendous commitment of both financial and labor to what you're seeing, and it really is a big deal.
So the Hallamore Clydesdales are very different from the barn burners.
They are, and the horse itself is different. And the horse, we may say that when you're riding a horse and you're going back to the cowgirl, cowboy era, you have all this aspect of patriotism. Well, the horse itself is the patriotism because of its massive size.
Right.
I mean, you think that 1879 is about the time that actually the Clydesdale horse was brought to America, and became more popular. And here you have the up in Holbrook and Lakeville in the area that dates back to 1898. And they're actually going to be pulling a Studebaker wagon, an 1899 authentic
Wow.
Studebaker wagon, which could carry 5 tons.
Right.
But as you saw, each horse is
Over 2 tons.
Over 2 tons, over a ton anyway. And the thing is, you have to recognize that when they say hands, that's the way you measure it. It's putting your 4 fingers together. It's about 4 inches.
Yeah.
So when you're doing a hand, you do a hand measurement.
Yeah.
But as he was saying, 18 hands is about 6 feet.
Right.
So you think, look, I'm 6'5",
Yeah.
and this thing is huge. So
Yeah.
they're usually pulling loads.
Yeah.
They're tremendous servants, tremendously gentle, and yet you wouldn't want to mess with one.
Right, right.
And so that's tremendously patriotic in and of itself.
And tell me about the garb that the actual horses are dressed in as they pull whatever they pull.
Scottish garb. They would be up to the England and Scotland era.
Yeah.
And they would be dealing with that historic time period. Once again, a lot of times this was used in the military.
Right.
It was used to pull heavy loads of
Right.
ammunition and things like that, but
Right.
not only. It was used to obviously take people for transportation.
Yes.
It's another era. That's the purpose of this parade. Give you a snapshot back to another era and preserve that for future generations.
Right. And as I'm watching the parade, I will watch the horse exclusively when I'm
Yes.
watching the Clydesdales.
Exactly.
Because
then,
they're so
Of course, they're going to want you to
magnificent.
see that wagon, that
Of course,
restored wagon
but I
right
mean,
behind
you're
it.
not watching the rider.
That's
You're,
right.
Their
that's
horse
right.
is
Exactly.
they're amazing.
So they're phenomenal.